The massive space station looked like a glowing crystal floating in the darkness between two bright suns. Ambassador Kyung-min Park stared at it through the window of his small shuttle. His heart beat faster as they got closer. This was the moment Earth had been waiting for. After 3 long years of talks and meetings, humanity was finally asking to join the Galactic Council. The station was huge. It could hold millions of people inside. Kyung-min had studied the pictures, but seeing it with his own eyes was different. The crystal wall seemed to move and change color as his shuttle flew around it. Other ships were coming and going all the time. Some looked like metal birds. Others were just balls of light. A few ships were so strange that Kyung-min could not guess what they were. "We are here, Ambassador," said Captain Minako from the pilot seat. She had been quiet during the whole trip. Like Kyung-min, she knew how important this day was. The shuttle moved into the docking bay. Robot arms grabbed it and pulled it to a parking spot. Kyung-min checked his blue suit one more time. He carried a small bag with Earth's application, papers and gifts from every country on the planet. Each gift showed something special about human culture. Walking through the station was like stepping into a dream. The halls were filled with beings from across the galaxy. Some walked on 2 legs like humans. Others floated in the air. A few moved on many legs like spiders. The ceiling showed a perfect view of space above them. Stars and planets moved slowly across the fake sky. 2 council guards met Kyung-min at the main elevator. They looked like tall humans but had blue skin and no hair. Their eyes were completely black. "Ambassador Park," one of them said in perfect English. "We will take you to the council chamber." The elevator ride took 10 minutes. When the doors opened, Kyung-min stepped into the biggest room he had ever seen. The council chamber was shaped like a giant bowl. Seats went up and up in circles until they disappeared in the distance above. Most seats had strange beings sitting in them. Some beings appeared as moving pictures because they lived too far away to come in person. At the bottom of the bowl was a small platform with a single chair. That was where Kyung-min would speak to the whole galaxy. "The council will see the human representative now," announced a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Kyung-min walked down the long path to the platform. His footsteps echoed in the huge space. Thousands of alien eyes watched him. Some beings made soft noises. Others stayed completely quiet. He could feel their curiosity and their doubt. He reached the platform and sat in the chair. A glowing screen appeared in front of him, showing the faces of the most important council members. "I am Counselor Vextara of the Hegemony," said a being that looked like a giant insect. Its voice was cold and sharp. "You may begin your presentation, human." Kyung-min stood up and activated his holographic display. Images of Earth appeared around him. Beautiful blue oceans, green forests, cities full of people working together. "Honorable council members," he began. "My name is Kyung-min Park. I come from a planet called Earth in the Sol system. For the past 3 years, we have worked hard to prove that humanity deserves a place in this great alliance." The images changed to show human achievements, space stations, medical discoveries, art, and music from every culture. Kyung-min talked about how humans had learned to live in peace after many wars. He explained how they wanted to share their knowledge with other species. "We know we are young compared to your civilizations," Kyung-min said, "but we bring fresh ideas and strong determination. We want to learn from you and help make the galaxy a better place for everyone." Many council members seemed interested. They leaned forward to look at the images. Some asked questions about human technology and culture. Kyung-min answered each question carefully and honestly. Then Counselor Vexitara raised one of its sharp arms. The chamber became quiet. "Before we continue," the insect being said, "the council has received some troubling information about the human species." Kyung-min felt a cold fear in his stomach. This was not part of the plan. New images appeared around the platform. These were not the peaceful pictures Kyung-min had shown. These images showed human military bases, weapons factories, secret research facilities. "We have intercepted human communications," Vexitara continued. "Your species has been developing what you call extinction-class weapons while pretending to seek peace. You have projects named Titan, Medusa, and Phoenix. These projects are designed to destroy entire worlds. Kyung-min's mouth went dry. The weapons projects were real, but they were only for defense. Earth had made them in case aliens attacked first. Those weapons are purely defensive, Kyung-min said quickly. We built them to protect our planet, not to attack others. Many species in the galaxy have similar defenses. But no species has sought council membership while hiding such capabilities. Another council member said. This one looked like a giant tree with eyes. You call them defensive, Vextara said. But our experts say these weapons could destroy any planet in the galaxy. How can we trust a species that lies about its true power? The council chamber filled with noise as thousands of beings talked at once. Some seemed angry, others seemed afraid. Kyung-min tried to explain, but his voice was lost in the chaos. Finally, the noise stopped. The council's leader, an ancient being made of pure energy, spoke for the first time. The vote will now begin, it said. All in favor of accepting humanity into the Galactic Council? 4 lights appeared on the big display. Only 4 out of 47 species voted yes. The motion fails, the energy being announced. Furthermore, the Council declares humanity a potential threat to galactic peace. The Sol system will be placed under immediate quarantine. Kyung-min felt the world spinning around him. Everything had gone wrong. Earth would not join the Council. Worse, they were now considered enemies. I request immediate transport back to my shuttle, Kyung-min said with as much dignity as he could manage. Request granted, Vextara said with what might have been a smile. Good journey, Ambassador. As Kyung-min walked back up the long path, he did not know that Dr. Hana Kim was watching from her research ship far away. He did not know that Council warships were already moving to surround his shuttle. He thought he was going home to deliver bad news. Instead, he was walking toward his death, and toward a war that would change the galaxy forever. Fleet Admiral Dong-Ho Lee was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency alarm started screaming through Earth's orbital defense platform. The hot liquid spilled on his uniform as he jumped up from his desk. Officers were running through the halls. Everyone looked scared. Admiral, called Commander Yoon Seo-han as she burst into his office. We have an emergency transmission from the Galactic Council station. You need to see this right now. They rushed to the main command center. The huge screens on the walls showed space around the council station. In the middle of the view was a small human shuttle. It was Ambassador Kyung-min Park's ship, trying to leave after the council meeting. Then everything went bright white. When the light faded, there was nothing left. No shuttle. No Ambassador Park. Just empty space and pieces of metal floating away. Admiral Lee felt sick. He had known Kyung-min for 10 years. They had served together in the Earth Defense Force before Kyung-min became a diplomat. Play it again, he said quietly. They watched the shuttle explode 3 more times. Each time, Admiral Lee felt more angry and more afraid. A new image appeared on the screen. It was Counselor Vexitara, the giant insect creature from the council. Its black eyes looked directly at the camera. People of Earth, it said in its cold voice. Your representative came to us with lies and hidden weapons. The Galactic Council has voted. Your species is too dangerous to exist near civilized worlds. You have 2 choices. Surrender your planet now, or we will take it by force. The message ended. The command center was completely quiet, except for the sound of computers beeping. Admiral Lee turned to his staff. Get me President Yoon on the secure line, now. 5 minutes later, President Soo Jin-yoon appeared on the main screen. She was in the emergency bunker under the capital city. Her face was pale, but her eyes were hard as steel. Admiral, how bad? Is it? She asked. Very bad, Madam President. Our long-range sensors show council ships moving toward Earth from 17 different directions. We count at least 2,400 warships so far. President Yoon closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, she looked older. How much time do we have? 6 months, maybe less if they have faster ships than we think. That's not enough time to evacuate the planet. No, ma'am, it's not. Within an hour, the Global Defense Initiative was meeting an emergency session. Leaders from every nation on Earth appeared on screens around the president's table. Some were angry, some were afraid. All of them knew that humanity was facing its end. Dr. Jiwoo Choi, the head of Earth's secret weapons program, stood up to speak. He was a thin man with gray hair and tired eyes. For 20 years, he had worked on projects that he hoped would never be used. The Council was right about our weapons, he said. We do have extinction-class technology. Project Titan uses antimatter to create explosions bigger than nuclear bombs. Project Medusa can break apart the basic forces that hold matter together. And Project Phoenix, he paused and looked around the room. Project Phoenix can destroy entire star systems. The room was silent. Even the military leaders looked shocked. We built these weapons after we first detected alien signals, Dr. Choi continued. We hoped we would never need them. We wanted to be ready if someone came to Earth with bad intentions. Well, someone did, said Admiral Lee. Can these weapons stop a fleet of 2,400 ships? If we use them all at once, yes, but there will be consequences. Once we start using these weapons, the galaxy will never see us as peaceful again. We will become the monsters that every species fears. President Yoon stood up slowly. Everyone in the room looked at her. The weight of 8 billion human lives was on her shoulders. Dr. Choi, I want you to activate all 3 projects immediately. Admiral Lee, I want every military unit on high alert. We are not going to surrender our planet to aliens who murder diplomats. She paused and looked directly into the camera that was broadcasting to the whole world. As of this moment, Earth is activating the Annihilation Protocol. Any species that threatens our planet will face our full military power. We offered peace. They chose war. Now they will learn what happens when you try to destroy humanity. The next few hours were like controlled chaos. Military bases around Earth came alive with activity. Weapons that had been stored in secret locations were brought out and prepared. Ships that had been disguised as cargo haulers revealed their true purpose as warships. Captain Bora Shin received her orders at the secret moon base where Earth's stealth ships were hidden. Her ship, the Ghostwalker, was one of 12 vessels that could become invisible to enemy sensors. Your mission is simple, Admiral Lee told her over the secure channel. Get to Council space without being detected. Find out everything you can about their fleet, how many ships, what kind of weapons, what their plan is. Understood, Admiral. When do we leave? Right now. And Captain, you might be the only thing standing between Earth and total destruction. Don't let us down. Meanwhile, Engineer Tae-young Kim was working at the asteroid mining station near Jupiter. He had received orders that seemed impossible. Turn peaceful mining equipment into weapons of war. Sir, said his assistant, a young woman named Yoon Kyung Park. How are we supposed to make asteroid miners into military weapons? Tae-young looked at the massive machines around them, rock crushers, laser drills, cargo ships designed to carry tons of metal and ice. Think about it, he said. What's the difference between breaking apart an asteroid and breaking apart an enemy ship? What's the difference between hauling rocks and hauling bombs? By the end of the day, they had a plan. The mining ships would become missile platforms. The rock crushers would be loaded onto cargo ships and sent toward enemy positions like giant flying hammers. Even the small repair drones would carry explosives. Dr. Hana Kim was still hiding near the Council station in her research ship. She had watched Ambassador Park's murder with her own eyes. Now she was listening to Council communications, trying to learn their plans. What she heard made her blood run cold. The human cleansing will begin as soon as our fleets reach their system, said a Council admiral. After we destroy their military, we will land ground forces on their planet. Any humans who survive will be relocated to work camps on distant worlds. They were not just planning to defeat Earth, they were planning to wipe out the human race. Dr. Kim began recording everything she heard. If she could get this information back to Earth, it would prove that humanity was fighting for its very survival. Back on Earth, President Yoon made one final announcement to the world. My fellow humans, she said, we are about to face the greatest challenge in our history. An alien alliance has decided that we are too dangerous to live. They have declared war on our entire species. But they have made one terrible mistake. They think we will surrender. They think we will go quietly into extinction. They are wrong." She looked directly into the camera, and her voice became as hard as diamond. "We are human. We survived ice, ages and plagues. We survived world wars and natural disasters. We will survive this too. And when we are done, the galaxy will remember one thing. Never threaten Earth. Never threaten humanity. Because if you do, we will make sure you regret it forever." The transmission ended. Across the solar system, humanity prepared for war. Captain Bo-Ra Shin's ship moved through space like a ghost. The Ghost Walker was completely invisible to enemy sensors. Its special hull could bend light around it, making it disappear from view. Bo-Ra had been traveling for 2 weeks, getting deeper into Council territory every day. She was not alone in enemy space. Her team included engineer Min-Ho Kang and communications officer So-Ra Lee. They had volunteered for this dangerous mission because they knew Earth needed information about the enemy fleet. "Captain," whispered So-Ra from her station, "I'm picking up Council communications. They're talking about something called Operation Cleansing Wave." Bo-Ra felt her stomach tighten. That name sounded very bad. What are they saying? The main fleet is still 2 months away from Earth, but they're not just bringing warships, they have colony ships with them. Hundreds of them. Bo-Ra stared at the data on her screen. The enemy fleet was enormous. Over 2,000 warships of different sizes, but behind them came another fleet of ships designed to carry families and workers. "They're planning to take over Earth after they destroy us," she said quietly. "Those colony ships are full of aliens who want to live on our planet." Min-Ho looked up from his engineering station. "Captain, if they have that many ships, our defenses won't be enough. Earth's entire space fleet has maybe 300 ships. How can we fight an enemy that's 10 times bigger?" Before Bo-Ra could answer, alarms started beeping. 3 Council scout ships had appeared on their sensors. The enemy vessels were moving toward the outer edge of the Sol system. "So-Ra, send a message to Earth. Tell them enemy scouts are coming. Then we follow those ships and see what they do." The Council scouts were fast, but they were not invisible. Bo-Ra's ship followed them for 3 days as they entered the solar system. The enemy ships moved carefully, scanning everything they passed. They counted human defenses and made maps of weapon positions. The scouts stopped near Titan, one of Saturn's moons. There was a human research station there, along with a small defense fleet. Commander Young-Soo Park was in charge of the station. He was Ambassador Kyung-Min Park's younger brother, and he was very angry about his brother's death. "This is Titan Station calling unidentified ships," Young-Soo broadcast to the Council scouts. "You are in human space without permission. Leave now or we will consider you hostile." The Council ships did not respond. Instead, they began scanning Titan Station with powerful sensors. They were studying human defenses and looking for weak points. Young-Soo had 6 ships under his command. They were small compared to the Council vessels, but they were fast and well-armed. His flagship was a destroyer called the Retribution. "All ships, this is Commander Park," he said over the military channel. "Those aliens killed my brother and declared war on our planet. I'm not letting them scan our defenses and report back to their fleet. Attack!" The battle began without warning. Young-Soo's ships came out from behind Titan like angry hornets. The Council scouts were bigger and had stronger shields, but they were not expecting a fight. The first Council ship exploded when 3 human torpedoes hit it at the same time. The second ship tried to run, but Young-Soo's fastest vessel, a corvette, called the Stinger, chased it down and destroyed its engines with laser fire. The third Council ship was smarter. It hid in Titan's thick atmosphere, using the orange clouds as cover. The human ships could not see it clearly through the gas and particles. But Young-Soo had an idea. Titan's atmosphere was full of methane gas. If they could ignite it somehow, the explosion would damage the enemy ship and force it out of hiding. "All ships, fire incendiary rounds into the atmosphere," he ordered. "Let's light up this moon like a torch." The plan worked perfectly. The methane gas caught fire, creating a massive explosion that lit up the entire moon. The Council ship was thrown out of the atmosphere with its shields down and its hull burning. Young Su's ships finished it quickly. 3 enemy scouts destroyed. He reported to Earth. No human losses, but sir, they got a good look at our defenses before we stopped them. The enemy knows what we have here. Admiral Lee received the report on Earth with mixed feelings. The victory was good news, but it meant the war had officially started. There would be no more chances for peace. While the battle was happening at Titan, engineer Tae-Young Kim was working frantically at the asteroid belt. He had turned dozens of mining ships into weapons, but he needed more time to prepare proper defenses. His team was installing missile launchers on cargo haulers when they received an emergency message. All units, this is Earth Command. Long-range sensors detect Council fleet movements. Enemy advance forces are approaching the outer system. Activate all defensive positions immediately. Tae-Young looked at his work with worry. He had created powerful weapons, but they were not ready for a real battle. His asteroid bases could hurt enemy ships, but they could not stop a full invasion. Yoon-kyung, he called to his assistant. Start moving the armed asteroids into position. If enemy ships come through the belt, I want to give them a very unpleasant surprise. Back in Council space, Dr. Hana Kim was still gathering intelligence from her hidden research ship. She had discovered something that terrified her. The Council was not just planning to conquer Earth. They wanted to completely destroy human civilization. Phase 1. Destroy all human military forces, she heard a Council admiral saying. Phase 2. Orbital bombardment of major cities. Phase 3. Ground invasion and collection of surviving humans for relocation camps. Dr. Kim had been a scientist all her life. She studied alien biology and dreamed of peaceful contact between species. Now she was listening to aliens plan genocide against her own race. But she also heard something else. Not all Council species supported the war. Several smaller civilizations were afraid of humanity's new weapons. A few were even talking about making secret peace agreements. If I could contact those species, she thought, maybe I could split the Council alliance, turn some of them against the others. It was a dangerous idea. If the Council discovered what she was doing, they would kill her immediately. But it might be the only way to save Earth from total destruction. Dr. Kim began sending coded messages to the species that seemed most opposed to the war. She identified herself as a human scientist and offered to share information about Earth's true intentions. The first response came from the Altarian Republic, a group of peaceful traders who had been forced to join the Council military action. Dr. Kim, the message said, we do not want war with your species, but we are afraid of your weapons. Council leaders say humans plan to conquer the galaxy. Is this true? Dr. Kim quickly sent back copies of Ambassador Park's original mission briefings. She included recordings of his final speech to the Council, where he had talked about peace and cooperation. We never wanted to conquer anyone, she transmitted. We just wanted to join your alliance and learn from other species. Your Council murdered our diplomat and declared war on us first. More species began responding to her messages. The Kepler Federation sent data about their own defensive weapons, proving that many Council species had planet-killing technology. The Zeta Alliance shared intelligence about Council military plans. Slowly, secretly, Dr. Kim was building a network of aliens who opposed the war. It might not be enough to stop the fighting, but it could give humanity valuable allies when the real battle began. On Earth, President Yoon received reports from all fronts. The first skirmishes had gone well for humanity, but the real test was still coming. Admiral Lee, she said during their daily briefing, how much longer until their main fleet arrives? 6 weeks, Madam President, maybe less. And our preparations? Project. Titan weapons are being installed on all major ships. Project Medusa devices are ready for deployment. Project Phoenix. Admiral Lee paused. Project Phoenix is ready, but I hope we never have to use it. President Yoon nodded. Project Phoenix was humanity's ultimate weapon. It could destroy entire star systems, but using it would make Earth the most feared and hated planet in the galaxy. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, she said. But if it does, we'll do whatever we must to protect our people. Outside Earth's atmosphere, automated defense platforms were coming online. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a battleship. There were thousands of them, creating multiple layers of protection around the planet. The Shadow War was ending. Soon, the real war would begin. The enemy came like a dark cloud across the stars. Admiral Wu Jinjiang watched from his command ship as 200 Council warships approached the edge of the solar system. They moved in perfect formation, confident in their power and numbers. This Council fleet expected to find a weak planetary defense force. Instead, they found something that would give them nightmares for the rest of their lives. "Admiral," reported Lieutenant Jinho Park from the sensor station, "enemy fleet is entering the asteroid garden. All defensive positions are active and ready." Admiral Jiang smiled grimly. The asteroid garden was his creation. For 2 months, his teams had been placing weapons inside asteroids and positioning them throughout the outer solar system. To enemy sensors, they looked like normal space rocks. In reality, they were the most dangerous minefield in galactic history. "Wait until they're deep in the field," Admiral Jiang ordered. "I want them surrounded before we spring the trap." The Council ships moved confidently through the asteroids. Their admiral, a proud being called Thexmore, was already planning his victory celebration. In his mind, this battle would be over in hours. He was right about the timing. He was wrong about who would win. "Now," whispered Admiral Jiang. Thousands of asteroids suddenly came alive. Hidden thrusters fired, sending the space rocks flying toward enemy ships. Concealed weapons ports opened, revealing missile launchers and laser cannons. What had seemed like an empty asteroid field became a swarm of deadly weapons. The first Council ship died before its crew knew what was happening. An asteroid the size of a building slammed into its hull at incredible speed, breaking the ship in half. The second ship lasted longer, but not much. 3 weapon asteroids surrounded it and fired missiles from point-blank range. Within 10 minutes, 60 Council ships were destroyed or badly damaged. The survivors tried to retreat, but they were trapped in the middle of Admiral Jiang's deadly garden. "This is Admiral Thexmore to all Council forces," came a panicked transmission. "We are under massive attack. Human defenses are far stronger than expected. Requesting immediate reinforcement." Admiral Jiang opened a communication channel to the enemy fleet. "This is Admiral Jiang of the Earth Defense Force. You came to our home to murder our people. Now you see what happens when you threaten humanity. Surrender now, and we will allow your surviving ships to leave." "Never," Thexmore responded. "The Council does not surrender to primitive species." "Then you will die," Admiral Jiang said calmly, and closed the channel. The battle continued for 3 more hours. By the end, only 40 Council ships escaped the asteroid garden. The rest were floating debris. Admiral Jiang had lost 12 defensive platforms and 0 human ships. News of the victory spread quickly through Earth's command network. President Yoon felt a moment of hope, but she knew this was just the beginning. General Min-ho Lee was ready with the next phase of Earth's defense plan. While Admiral Jiang was fighting in the asteroids, General Lee had been preparing Operation Prometheus. "All torpedo squadrons, this is General Lee. The enemy is retreating from the outer system, but they'll be back with more ships. We need to hit them while they're confused and scared." The torpedo squadrons launched from hidden bases throughout the solar system. These were not ordinary missiles. Each torpedo contained an antimatter warhead that could phase through energy shields. Dr. Jiwoo Choi had spent years developing the technology, hoping it would never be needed. Now it was humanity's best hope for survival. The Council ships thought they were safe behind their powerful shields. They had never fought an enemy with weapons that could ignore those defenses. The first antimatter torpedo passed through a Council cruiser's shields like they were not there. The explosion tore the ship apart from the inside. Captain Seo Jun commanded one of the torpedo squadrons. His ship, the Vengeance, carried 12 antimatter weapons. He had volunteered for this mission because his sister had been killed when the Council bombed the Mars colonies. "Target the big one," he told his weapons officer, pointing at a Council battleship. "Let's see how tough they really are." 3 torpedoes hit the battleship at the same time. The massive ship, larger than any human vessel, broke apart like a toy. Its destruction sent shockwaves through the enemy fleet. The surviving Council ships retreated beyond Jupiter's orbit. They had never seen weapons like this before. Their shields, which had protected them for thousands of years, were useless against human technology. On Earth, Dr. So Young Chang was working on another breakthrough that would change the war. She had been trying to solve faster-than-light communication for her entire career. The pressure of war had finally given her the inspiration she needed. "Admiral Lee," she called excitedly from her laboratory. "I've done it. I've created a working HFY communication system." Admiral Dong Ho Lee rushed to her lab. If humans could communicate instantly across the solar system, they could coordinate their defenses perfectly. "How does it work?" he asked. "Quantum entanglement," Dr. Chang explained. "I can link communication devices so that a message sent from one appears instantly on the other, no matter how far apart they are. We can have real-time contact with all our forces." Within days, every human ship and base had an FTL communicator. Earth's scattered defenses became a single, unified military force. When Council scouts appeared near Saturn, Admiral Zhang knew about it instantly. When enemy ships were spotted near Mars, the information reached every human commander at the same time. But the Council was not finished. Their response to Earth's victories was swift and brutal. Supreme Admiral Kethvar arrived with a fresh fleet of 500 ships. His orders were simple. If human military forces were too strong to defeat easily, then attack civilian targets instead. The Council fleet bypassed Earth's main defenses and struck directly at human colonies. The Mars settlements were first. Orbital. Bombardment turned the dome cities into burning ruins. 50,000 humans died in the first hour. Then they hit the asteroid mining stations. The Ceres facility was completely destroyed. The Europa research base was burned from orbit. Wherever humans lived and worked in space, Council ships brought death and fire. President Yoon watched the casualty reports with growing horror and rage. The enemy was deliberately targeting civilians, trying to break humanity's will to fight. "Admiral Lee," she said in a voice like ice, "activate Phase 2 of the Annihilation Protocol. I want those butchers to pay for what they've done." Phase 2 meant direct strikes against Council worlds. Earth was no longer fighting just to defend itself. Now it was time to take the war to the enemy. Colonel Hyun Woo Nam received his orders at the secret moon base where Earth's most advanced ships were hidden. His vessel, the Nemesis, was equipped with experimental quantum tunneling drives that could appear anywhere in the galaxy without warning. "Your target is the Vega shipyard," Admiral Lee told him. "It's one of their most important military facilities. Destroy it completely, but try not to hit civilian areas." "Understood, sir. What's our weapon loadout?" "One Project Phoenix device, that should be enough." Colonel Nam felt a chill. Project Phoenix weapons were planet killers. Using one on a space station seemed like massive overkill, but it would certainly send a message. The Nemesis vanished from normal space and reappeared near the Vega system. The Council shipyard was enormous, capable of building dozens of warships at the same time. Hundreds of partially completed ships floated in construction bays. "Target locked," reported Weapons Officer Eugene Kim. "Phoenix device ready to fire." "Fire," Colonel Nam ordered. The weapon was a single beam of energy that lasted only a few seconds. But in those seconds, it completely unmade the molecular bonds holding the shipyard together. The massive station simply fell apart, as if it had never been built at all. 60 Council warships under construction were destroyed instantly. The shipyard's 10,000 workers had time to escape in emergency pods, but their life's work was gone forever. The attack was so precise and devastating that it shocked the galaxy. Humans had appeared from nowhere, destroyed a target that should have been impossible to reach, and vanished again without losing a single ship. News of the Vega strike spread through Council space like wildfire. If humans could appear anywhere and destroy anything, then no world was safe. Several smaller species began to question whether the war was worth the risk. Dr. Hana Kim, still hiding in Council space, intercepted hundreds of panicked communications. Military commanders were demanding better defenses. Political leaders were asking if peace negotiations were possible. Some species were even talking about withdrawing from the alliance. "Earth Command," she transmitted on a secure channel. "This is Dr. Kim. The The Vega strike has terrified them. Several council species are considering breaking ranks. I think we might be able to split their alliance. Back on Earth, President Yoon was making one of the hardest decisions of her life. The council had murdered civilians. They had declared war on her entire species. Now it was time to show them what humanity was truly capable of. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said to her military commanders, "we are going to implement Protocol Omega. Every council homeworld will receive a personal message from Earth. They need to understand what they're really fighting." Protocol Omega was psychological warfare on a galactic scale. Human ships would appear in orbit around major council planets, transmit a simple message, and vanish before local defense. The news of the Vega strike reached every corner of the galaxy within hours. In the council chamber where Ambassador Kyung-min Park had died, emergency sessions were being held around the clock. Species that had voted for war were now questioning their decision. Captain In-soo Kang stood on the bridge of his battleship, the Phoenix, watching enemy supply ships burn in the distance. His fleet had been hunting council forces for 3 weeks, striking their support vessels and communication relays. They were like sharks in dark water, appearing without warning and vanishing before enemy reinforcements could arrive. "Captain," called Navigation Officer Haewon Park, "we've intercepted council communications. They're changing their supply routes again. 3rd time this month." In-soo smiled coldly. That was exactly what he wanted to hear. Every time the council changed their plans, it showed how much humans were hurting them. Good. Fear makes people stupid. The more scared they get, the more mistakes they'll make. His ship had been hunting in deep space for months. They used hit-and-run tactics that Earth's military had learned from studying ancient guerrilla wars. Strike fast, hit hard, and disappear before the enemy could fight back. The Phoenix was part of a new type of warfare that the galaxy had never seen before. Instead of big fleet battles, humans were fighting a shadow war. They attacked supply lines, destroyed communication stations, and made it impossible for council forces to coordinate their movements. "Sir," reported Weapons Officer Dongmin Yu, "enemy convoy approaching. 3 cargo ships with 2 escort vessels." "Perfect," In-soo said. "Take out the escorts first, then board the cargo ships. I want to know what they're carrying and where they were going." The battle was over in minutes. Human weapons were too advanced for the council escorts to handle. The cargo ships surrendered without firing a shot. When In-soo's boarding team searched the captured vessels, they found something disturbing. The ships were carrying prefabricated buildings, farming equipment, and family supplies. This was not military cargo. "Captain," said Marine Sergeant Bo Young-cho over the radio, "these ships are loaded with colony supplies. Looks like they're planning to set up permanent settlements somewhere." In-soo felt his blood turn cold. The council was not just planning to defeat Earth. They were preparing to replace humanity entirely. "Download their navigation data," he ordered. "I want to know where those supplies were going." The captured information showed shipping routes to dozens of worlds near Earth. The council was preparing to colonize human space after they destroyed Earth's population. Meanwhile, Dr. Hana Kim was having the most important conversations of her life. Hidden in her research ship, she was secretly negotiating with council species that wanted to end the war. Her first major breakthrough came from the Altarian Republic. Their representative, Ambassador Yelnara, contacted her on a secure channel. "Dr. Kim," the alien diplomat said, "my people are afraid. Your weapons are beyond anything we imagined. We joined this war because we were told humans wanted to conquer the galaxy. But we have studied your Ambassador Park's original messages. He spoke only of peace." Hana leaned forward in her chair. This was the opening she had been hoping for. "Ambassador, my species never wanted war. We built defensive weapons because we were afraid of what we might find in space. When your council murdered our diplomat and declared war on us, we had no choice but to fight back." "But your weapons," Yelnara said, "they can destroy entire worlds. How can we trust a species with such power?" "The same way we have to trust species that already have such weapons," Hana replied. "I can send you data about council military technology. You'll see that many of your allies have planet-killing devices too. The difference is that we have never used ours to attack innocent people. Over the next several days, Hana shared evidence that changed everything. She sent recordings of Ambassador Park's peaceful mission. She provided data showing that Earth's weapons were purely defensive. Most importantly, she shared intelligence about Council plans to exterminate humanity and colonize human worlds. The response was immediate. The Altarian Republic announced that they were withdrawing from the war. The Kepler Federation followed within hours. By the end of the week, 7 Council species had declared neutrality. Supreme Admiral Keithvar was furious. His alliance was falling apart just when he needed it most. The remaining Council species were demanding better protection for their homeworlds, but he could not be everywhere at once. That was when Admiral Mi Young-seo implemented the most terrifying part of Earth's war plan, Protocol Omega. Her task force had grown to include 30 ships, each capable of appearing anywhere in the galaxy without warning. Their mission was simple, but devastating. They would visit Council homeworlds and demonstrate that humanity could destroy any planet they chose, but they would not actually attack. Instead, they would show mercy and make sure everyone knew it. The first target was Hegemony Prime, homeworld, of Counselor Vexitara, the insect being who had orchestrated Ambassador Park's murder. Admiral Seo's ships appeared in orbit around the planet without warning. The local defense fleet was caught completely off guard. They had 12 battleships protecting their world. Earth's task force disabled all of them in less than 10 minutes. Then Admiral Seo opened a communication channel to the entire planet. People of Hegemony Prime, she broadcast. This is Admiral Seo of the Earth Defense Force. My ships carry weapons that can turn your world into lifeless rock. But we are not here to murder civilians. We are here to deliver a message. Every screen on the planet showed the same image. Human ships in orbit, weapons pointed at the surface below. Your leaders started this war by murdering our peaceful ambassador. They have declared that our entire species must be destroyed. But look at your skies right now. We could have killed every living thing on this planet, but we chose not to. Remember this moment. Remember that humans offered mercy when we could have chosen destruction. The transmission ended. The human ships vanished as quickly as they had appeared. The psychological impact was enormous. Hegemony Prime had the strongest defenses in Council space, and humans had brushed them aside like they were nothing. If Earth could appear anywhere and destroy anything, then every Council world was helpless. Admiral Seo's fleet hit 12 worlds in the next week. Each time the message was the same. We could have destroyed you. We chose not to. Remember that. Panic spread through Council space. Some species began evacuating their homeworlds. Others demanded immediate peace negotiations. Military commanders started refusing orders, afraid that their actions might bring human retaliation down on their families. Dr. Jiwoo Choi was working frantically in his laboratory on Earth, preparing for the final phase of the war. Intelligence reports showed that Supreme Admiral Keithvar was gathering the largest fleet in galactic history for one final assault on Earth. How many ships? President Yoon asked during their daily briefing. 1,800 warships, Dr. Choi replied, plus support vessels. It's the biggest fleet anyone has ever assembled. Can our defenses handle that many ships? Dr. Choi was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he shook his head. No, ma'am. Our defenses are strong, but not that strong. If they all attack at once, some of them will get through. Earth will take damage. President Yoon closed her eyes. She had hoped it would not come to this. Then we use Project Phoenix. All of it. Dr. Choi looked shocked. Madam President, Project Phoenix at full power. It could destroy this entire star system, including Earth. Better to die free than live as slaves, President Yoon said firmly. How long do we have? 2 weeks, maybe less. Across the solar system, humanity prepared for the final battle. Every ship was armed with the most powerful weapons Earth could build. Every space station was turned into a fortress. Every asteroid was loaded with explosives. Captain Jae-sung-oh received command of the flagship Annihilation, the most powerful warship humanity had ever built. His ship carried Project Phoenix weapons that could tear apart the fabric of space itself. Captain, said his first officer, Commander Yuki Tanaka, Are we really going to fight 1,800 ships with 300? We're not just fighting ships, Jae-sung replied. We're fighting for the right of our species to exist, and if we're going to die, we're going to take as many of them with us as possible. Meanwhile, Supreme Admiral Kethvar was making his final preparations. He had lost many allies, but he still commanded the largest military force in the galaxy. His plan was simple: overwhelm Earth's defenses with sheer numbers and finish the human threat forever. This time there will be no survivors, he told his fleet commanders. Every human ship will be destroyed. Every human world will be sterilized. When we are finished, the galaxy will be safe from their weapons forever. But Kethvar had made one critical mistake. He thought he was fighting a normal war against a normal enemy. He did not understand that humans were willing to destroy themselves rather than surrender. In 2 weeks he would learn the true meaning of the Annihilation Protocol. The galaxy held its breath as the largest fleet in history moved toward the small blue planet that had dared to fight back against impossible odds. The final battle was coming, and everyone knew that the outcome was